that better? Can you hear me
Oh,
better now?
much better. Yeah, perfect.
I
Okay.
think because he was
So,
on the phone. I think that's why it messed up the
oh,
sound.
oh, okay. Right, okay. So we'll just go silent for a second and then I can just edit it from there. Okay, so evening. Thank you, Lee. Thank you for joining me on this topic that we got to speak about. Lucy Letby, isn't it? Make sure I'm pronouncing it right. So tonight, obviously, listen, I just want to clarify to people. I was going to make a video on my own, but I thought, do you know what? We've been in different jails. We've been in jail together. So obviously, it's even better having another person say exactly how it is. You know,
Definitely.
I'm not here to talk about to the extent of what she done, you know, the fact that she's denied whatever. I'm not interested in any of that. This literally is to show everybody out there, all the viewers and everything, explain to them exactly what her process is now, how her journey's going to be in prison, and what her life going forward is now going to be like.
Indeed, we are. It's just so mad, like when people speak about this situation and they're like, good, she's gonna rot in hell, and I'm like, she literally is not gonna rot in there. Like she's give it about 6 months to a year, and she'll be settled. She'll have a good job. She'll have a good location where she can live her best life. She'll be paying what, £1 a week? Like people are forgetting the reality of what she now has to do and what we as now taxpayers, we have to now do for prisoners like that, because there isn't no separation. We get put with everyone. Low level criminals get put with these very vile criminals. Do you understand? So the benefits are endless, really. Are they not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, totally. Do you know what? I done a piece with the Daily Star this morning, which is actually out already on the internet, and I just want to clarify one bit. It said that I was living on a protected wing. Now the words have got mixed up. I was never living on a protected wing. Me and you both lived on a privileged wing,
Yeah.
which is totally different to a protected wing. I mean, when we talk about protected wing, that's like J wing in Send,
Yeah.
and in Send the privileged wing is ENF, which also you've got
Yeah.
nonces, kiddie killers, and that kind of thing on them as well. But we'll go into a bit of in depth how hard that then makes it for us because we either choose to be kicked off and not have them privileged to go at these people, or we go at these people and get, like we'll go into that a little bit more. But I definitely needed to clear that up because that's now all over the internet that I lived on a
Oh,
protection wing
bless.
and I didn't. I lived on a privilege wing. But no, but we had a conversation and some valid points were quite made because even though her sentence now, she's going to get treated like royalty in the same aspect, is it treated like royalty when you've 3 years and you're 4 years into your sentence and now she's going to have to be walked around with an officer? So I'll tell you what, we'll rewind it a little bit. So guys, so basically what's going to happen for this woman now? She's going to go into prison. She's more than likely going to be in segregation. She's going to be segregated off from the rest of the prison for her own protection, basically, because she's plastered all over the media. Everyone's going to be going nuts. All the girls are going to want a gun for her. So literally, it's for her protection that they will keep her segregated in there. But then what will happen
Until
is
it dies down a little bit.
yeah, exactly. And then she will get integrated, sorry, into the rest of the prison. But then going forward, because see, where do you draw the line? Was you in Bronzefield? Because
Yes.
obviously,
Twice.
do you remember Shona? Is it Shona? Um,
Yes.
Shona? No, I mean, I didn't know of any of these people till I went to prison. I didn't know of Joan Dennehy. I didn't know of Shona. I didn't know of half these people that were in there for mad stuff. Well, her and her partner, I think they kidnapped and killed a 16-year-old stepsister or something like that.
Can we just pause for a minute?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just to explain that, like you just said, you don't remember, you didn't know them before. When you're in the prison community, you don't like you said, they go in the seg, and after a couple of months or whatever it is, there's so much going on in the prison community, you forget. So that person then gets released into general population, and no one knows who they are.
Yeah. Well, she was already in there before I went in, so because when I got moved on to the privilege wing, not protection wing, privilege wing, she was living on there, but she had already been in there for years before I went in, and she has to be escorted around by an officer. So the same as Joe Dennehy does, the same as another girl called Emma, that
And the
she's in there.
sisters, the terrorist sisters.
Yeah, so they have to go in. They have to be escorted by an officer because they're high risk. They're high risk prisoners, so they're not allowed to go from any anywhere in the prison on their own. They're not allowed to leave the wing on their own. They're not allowed to leave the class or work or whatever on their own. They have to be escorted by an officer at all times. So you imagine doing that now, 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line. Actually, could you imagine, you know, what it's like? You see them and they have to wait in a gym. They have to wait there until an officer comes. If an officer's busy, they just got to sit there and wait. They can't leave. If they've got an appointment and the officer's too busy to come and get them, they're not going to that appointment. So even though they have this special treatment now, they'll be protected. They'll be on a wing when no one will want to touch them because no one wants to get kicked off, or it's the protection wing where all them kind of people go. They still later on, that's all good for them now, but later on, actually, that's not going to be so good for them, you know?
No, because the officers don't like it's an officer down. Every time you've got someone on an app book, you have an officer down. That officer is designated to look after that prisoner for the duration of the time they're on an app book. So when you've got the prisons like Bronsfield, for example, that when I was there, that housed, I think on average at the time it was like five or six prisoners that were on a 24-hour app book because of their crime, and it became draining. I've spoken to officers, some that were okay, and you can see that it's quite draining because their job is literally, like I said, to just go back and forth. So when you've got a few people in the whole prison that are on an app book, they have to juggle that up and down, back and forth. You've got to go and get them from the dining hall and take them back to the wing, from the wing to education,
I know.
education to exercise. It's crazy you
So,
know so if they don't get the treatment that they started with, like you said, it then turns into resentment now, like, really you know
yeah, so obviously, just to clarify up, an act book is actually somebody that is, how do you explain it, that it's a threat to do self-harm to their self. Like, so if someone therefore becomes suicidal, they're on a 24-hour watch, they can't be left on their own. So they'll be checked on every hour through the flap of their cell door. It's not anything to do with their crime. It's actually the fact that they are in a very, very temperamental state and they are likely to like self-harm themselves,
I
basically.
was on an app. I was on an app book, but I was on an app book because I had to go on an app book in order to get help, to get the
Yeah.
support I needed for the grief I was going through. I had to, like, basically tell them I'm gonna kill myself to get any kind of help. But they will put you on like a 1 hour watch. So every hour they will come, like you said, or sometimes they will come every 3-4 hours.
They got the
But
staff.
ah,
Depends if they got the staff as well to keep
But
coming as well.
they hate it. They hate that situation. So when you have to do that because of someone's crime 24/7, like, it puts you in a position as a human being also, as well as an officer, because you can say what you like about having a position, but we're all human. And there's just some things that just aren't correct. And that's children is the number one. Do you understand? It doesn't matter what. You just don't. There's no respect. There's no justification for any harm that comes to someone's child. So that alone, officers are not that reluctant to be that nice to you, not after a while, because then you know how it goes. They're normal people. They gravitate to the people that just do things like for money. People that are in there for like certain crimes, they will more talk to them because it's more plausible. But when you're in there for things like that, any normal human being, I'm sorry, there's not enough money in the world to pay me enough to treat you like a human being. Fucking crazy. And I've heard them say it themselves. Officers don't play. Like, they are very vigilant when it comes to like certain prisoners, and they will make that known, and let the prisoners know we don't condone this, but it's my job. I have to do some parts of it. It's like, better you than me.
Yeah. No, I hear that. So we'll just, because obviously everyone's probably like, they'll get to the point, get to the point. So what will her sentence be like going forward? So from my perspective, like we said, she's going to go into segregation. She could spend a month there. She could spend 6 months, depends how long they want to keep her in there. But at some point, whether it's 6 months or a year or a month, she will get integrated back with the rest of the prison. Now, in prison, you normally have, well, in Send, it's very bizarre because in Bronzefield there's one privilege wing where they used to be, and that wing is, you've got your own shower in your room, and stuff like that. So straight away they mix the protection wing. So they'll put people to be protected on there because of their crimes, and then you've got the people that want to just get their nut down, working outside. Yeah, this is about Lucy. Sorry, just clarifying up with someone. So they will basically. So you got someone like myself. I want to work. I want to get my head down. I want to do my sentence. I want to get out the gate, and I want to go and work outside. And then you got people like that just don't have to make no effort. They haven't got to kiss ass, not even kiss ass, but yes sir, no sir, for 12
Mhm.
weeks before you're allowed to move on there. They just get flung
Mhm.
straight on there. Nobody on there wants to start on them. Nobody wants to cause no bother, because the thing is, what you're going to do, you're going to beat them up. Yeah, then you get a nicking. So you get an extra sentence on top of your sentence, because that's an outside charge straight away, yeah? So you're going to do even longer for this. You're then going to get kicked off. You're never going to get to do your rules, and your sentence is 10 times harder straight away, right? So that's why they deem it okay to integrate these two kind of, there's me and you, and then there's these kind of people, on the wings. So she will end up living on there. She's going to get held abuse. She's going to get, every time she walks through that prison and she's walking past like the main block girls' windows, they're going to scream at her, they're going to threaten her, they're going to do whatever. And guaranteed, you might get that wrong officer on that day, that if she's escorted to medication, they will literally turn their back. If they know that there's one girl from main block, like that, there's one in Send. I won't really say her name because I don't know if she wants me to say it or not. But little and she would always go for these kind of people, and they will just turn their back at meds, and then she'll get a few smacks in, but then that'll probably be it. Like, then that's it. Like, for what she's done, that's nothing. She'll get an easy ride, and then within a couple of years, what the outside world forget is, people, there's so many high profile women in there for all these kind of stuff that have been on the news, so that in a few years there'll be someone else, because for some reason, some madness, it's becoming more common. It's more heard of now, or people, I
Well,
don't know how to explain it the right way.
well,
So someone else will come in 4 years time, and then this girl will have a relationship with somebody. She'll be like, her life won't be so tough as it was before. It'll be someone else getting the crap. Will she always get held abuse? Yeah, she will. She will get a tough time in that aspect. Right now, the first 6 months, the first year, she's gonna have it tough. It is gonna be rotten, and so fucking right it should be. But literally, like I said, as the years go on and on, you'll see her serving up your food. Or you'll see her, like we had a conversation, you'll see her sat in the library. She'll work pretty much wherever she wants to work after a couple of years.
and that's so interesting hearing you say that, right? Because obviously we've been in the same prison, we've been in separate prisons, we've been in the same prison at separate times, and then obviously we've been in separate prisons, right? And in the terms of like Brunsfield and Send and Downview, right? Like the south side of the prisons, like um it's very different. With it's predominantly low level criminals, right? So everything that you spoke about explains what it's like for life or to be in a prison with as the minority. You see, when you go up north, right, like where I went to Foston Hall, it's their territory. Like the odd people are the people like me who was in there
Mm,
for invasion and prohibition, but the majority of the people in there are the killers and the baby fiddlers, and do you understand? And that prison, Eastwood Park, Lower Newton, Foston Hall, they run very different to Send, Brunsfield, and Downview. Very, very different. You understand? So I hear you, but because she's up there is no torture and none of that. They run the prisons up there. So
wow.
the girls don't really have no talk because there's so much of them, and they run stores. They don't work in the kitchen, or that they run stores, they run the library, they even do admin in the education, you know, to show you how deep it is and how much control that they have when they're in there. So yeah, there's a big divide between the south of England and it's not the same. It's not the
Mm,
same.
wow. Yeah,
It's
because that's
not the
where she's
same.
gone, isn't it? Isn't Joe still in there?
Where did she end up going? To
She
Foster
went.
Hall?
No, she went Low Newton.
Okay. Yeah, Lower Newton. I heard a lot because of where I was. I was in Foster Hall, so a lot of the girls were coming back and forth from Lower Newton and Eastwood Park, and there's another one that up there, and it's just they're just a very different set of criminals. Do you understand?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a very
She's
different level.
she'll always have to be in a Cat A, like no double A. Is it double A? What's the
But this
bronze
is the
one?
thing. Well, Foston will be, she'll probably end up in Foston. Oh, that's where Rose West ended up. That's where the other, them two end up going in there, getting engaged. Can you imagine? Like two of the most high profile prisoners in the country, they end up putting them in a prison and putting them in a situation where they can get married. It's fucking ludicrous. But it was all supported by the women in the prison, and because the majority of them have that mindset, like, whereas us, we don't think like that. But up there,
Yeah,
that's why I struggled so much because the
yeah,
mindset of the people, they accept all of that. It's like if hearing the things that these people talk about in their meetings is very disturbing. And that's their normal life. That's how they think about children. And so you say that, but sh- sh- there's a community for her in there. I don't know about South. We don't really accept them things down here. We really don't. But up
yeah.
there, it's accepted a lot more than it is down here.
Wow. Yeah, I've never been in a prison that end, so thank God. That's
Thank
mad.
God.
That's
Trust
bizarre.
me.
That's bizarre. I don't. It's crazy.
It's mad. Remember, that's the same place that the man ended up. So if you can have a prison, what South prisoners had a man in there? Forget the trans. I'm talking a walking, talking, living, breathing man. Them things only happen up north, you
Yeah,
know. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see like the caliber of prisoners that are going to spend the next 10 years around that individual. Do you understand? To see what
yeah.
she's actually like. And, there's going to be people that are going to meet her and they're not going to know who she is. Not everyone listens to the media and watches the news. Like some
That's what
things
I mean.
can
I
get missed.
didn't before I went away. Even now, I don't watch the news. I didn't before. I find for me personally, I find it negative. There's nothing positive about the news. I only literally have heard all of this because I scroll through TikTok. And that's how it's come up for me. And then obviously, I don't buy the paper, don't read the paper. None of that's ever interested me. So that's the only reason is social media that I've heard of this. It's not through the news, so it's not unheard of that people don't know. Like I said, it's only because when I first got into prison, when I when I moved on to the privilege wing, people started saying to me, "Oh, this person's in here for forcing her kids to eat off the floor and beat her kid up. She's in here for kidnapping her girlfriend, and she's in here for kidnapping her boyfriend's stepsister and murdering her. She's in here for selling kid pornography and is only screwing because she got caught with a tattoo on her hand. Like and I'm just like, well, stop, man. Like I'm fresh in jail. I've only been in jail 10 weeks, and I'm like, I don't want to know. And then I didn't want to know, and then it was like, then the next thing you know, it's like, hang on a minute, I do want to know because I could be making friends with these people. And then even see that one who killed, I always forget her name because her name's not the same in there, Lou, was my next door neighbour that they killed the kids in the fire. I didn't even know who she was
Her
until I
name
went
was
to prison.
Meridian or something, isn't it? Meridian.
Yeah, but I didn't even know who she was until I went to
Me
prison.
either. Every
So,
day she's coming and bringing me sheets to put on my bed. And
but
this is
that's
what I'm talking about. You don't even know
you
who's
don't
bringing your
know.
sheets to
It's
you.
only because someone said to me, "Oh, you know who your neighbour is?" I'm like, "No," and I still don't even know who she was anyway. They're like, "Oh," I said, "Oh, maybe I heard something. Maybe I don't know." Again, I don't watch the news. None of that
One
interests
person
me.
that had been there for like 7, 8 years literally reeled off every single person in every single cell from Ewing, from the bottom. And what we have to explain to these people is not only was it a privileged wing, but the access, the times that you was allowed out in the day, the times that you was allowed to be out until at night, the fact that you never had a door locked,
Yeah,
these kind of
it's a
privileges that
whole
these
different
people were
level.
getting like us. And we just had to grind for the last how many years of our sentence to get to this point where we're now going home. They're not going home. So why are you getting the same privileges of me
I know, right?
reintegrating into the community?
And
Doesn't make sense.
exactly, exactly. It's just because the fucking protected wings full, and they get the luxury of coming and living down there, or they have to by the papers have so many lifers on there. So some of these idiots, yeah,
Like,
they're they're on that
yeah.
wing. So
Can I also add as well that obviously in Send I worked in the kitchen. I think Send was the only kitchen because of the way it run. Like J Wing had its own servery. I got to see the side of like the prisoners. So another thing that will happen is that don't play with these people. They work in the kitchen, and if there's a wing with for the nonsense, like people like her. Like they will spit in your food, they will do things to your food. I thought this was a myth, but I watched the girls in Sen do it. Do you understand? Especially through COVID, because now we had to go down there, and it was a fight. It was like, who's doing J Wing? Like me personally, I don't really care in it. But then when you go down there, you feel the energy. It's a whole different energy. It's
it,
like, oh my God, like these people are demons. I'm not coming back down.
But it's true. It literally, when I first walked on to House Block 4 in Bronzefield and J Wing, they have the same aura. It's like you're walking into a mental hospital. Like you can imagine, it's eerie, it's creepy, and every
The
paedophile
smell.
and and that smell, but every paedophile and every kiddie killer have the same stinking attitude, like they're bad as fuck.
Yeah.
Literally, they have the biggest chip on their shoulder. I don't know if it's because it's a front. I don't know if it's because they got putting their guard up, but then they must be wired different anyway. So of course they're gonna have an attitude. So
And
they
they
put,
get on so well. That's what got me. Like they get
yeah,
on so well.
yeah. It's not even funny, but you're making me laugh because you can't explain it to someone, can you? You can't explain the literally the vibe. You can walk on any house block in the prison, but that one wing, that vibe is just a whole different level, whole different
And
level.
another thing I wanted to
And they
mention as
all
well is
deny their
that
crime. They all deny their crime.
they do. Oh
All
my
the
God, like
paedophiles
they're the
deny their crime.
happiest. They're the happiest on the wings. Like you're too happy. You're too happy. Too happy for what you done. You killed your kid and you're fucking walking around laughing like that. Fucking that shit used to piss me off. You know the two individuals I'm talking about. Every day, laughing, smiling. Hi, good morning. Like,
But and do you know what the other one that really used to get me is someone would badmouth a paedophile, but then they'd be friends with a different one. But they said they didn't do it. Are you dumb? Are you all
yeah.
right?
I struggled with that with little Miss L. Yeah, she's the only one. Little L, little Liz. She's the only one that I don't know, man. There was just something about her, and I don't know if it was, I don't know if she clouded me because she was very professional, like, but just something made me believe her, like something with just her though,
Yeah,
just
see,
her.
that's a different ball game though. We're talking about I'm not going to go into details, but we're talking about someone being murdered. We're not talking about her killing kids or molesting kids. We're talking about somebody being murdered, an adult, and them being caught up in a situation and being blamed
True.
for. Do you know what I mean? That I got to go with that one. That it's a different scenario. I'm I'm talking about different people, but I'm not going
All
to
right,
say
fair
names on here
enough.
because this is
All
like
right, so did you
this
go
could
down
be
view?
far so far. No, 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 it was in Send, but I'll
So
talk to you about this one off. I know everyone's
So
going to be
in
really
down,
intrigued
so
now.
in Downview, so the only experience I had in Downview was a lady that worked in the jewelry shop, right? And the only highlights we had in that jail was the jewelry shop and the card shop where you can get little presents for people, right? She was a lovely lady, yeah. And Delon used to speak to her all the time, every day. Now, one day, someone come on the wing and I was like, why are you talking to that woman? I was like, what do you mean? What's she done? It's Jen, innit? They're like, no. Jen is a basically she's a pretty she's molested her child. I'm like, what? I'm like, Jen. So I've had to go down there and ask her because I don't believe that. There's no way. And do you know what? She did do it. But my point is this: I was a new prisoner. I'd been in there for what, 2 or 3 months. And like I said, the people, I feel very sorry for people that actually are going to end up going to prison because you're going to buck up on these people. You're going to walk to reception. They're going to give you someone to talk to, like our little friend A. Yeah. And that person is going to be someone like this little bitch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
They're
that's
the
the
positions that they get, and what happens to you mentally when you literally have to acknowledge the fact. Like, look at Joanna. I was in the seg, and I had this girl washing my clothes, giving me food, cleaning my cell. I didn't know who she was. I did not know who Joanna Dennehy was. I did not know.
you could have worse people doing stuff for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
but
just
just
not
for an
right.
example, like, as a who
Yeah,
wants that?
you don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing. I remember being in again Bronzefield, and this dear old little frail lady. She was so old and frail, and she must have been
The
early
one in the
80s.
wheelchair, gangstergram, you're talking.
No, that's no. She no. This one was older than her, but she used to walk with a little Zimmer frame, and always, always like I just think Nan figure, And I used
Yeah,
to have a laugh at a joke with her. You know what I'm like. You know what kind of bantery
yeah,
person I am. Like Christmas, it's my first Christmas in prison, And we were talking. I was like, yeah, what old music do you like? We were talking about the Carpenters. I was like, all right. So I got the CD sent in, and I make, I felt sorry for the woman, I just when they're old, you just go into Nan mode, like protective
yeah.
mode. So I'm
Trust
making her
me.
get up and have a dance with me. I'm trying to swing her around, bearing in mind she can barely stand. And
Yeah.
and then the next thing you know, someone tells me, like, Fran, do you know she's a wrong un? I'm like, what? I was like, no, no. I was like, please, please. Like, I don't know if I want to hear this now because it's gone too far. Do you know
I
what I
have to
mean? Like,
laugh.
how
If
can
I
I?
don't laugh, I'll cry.
Like, no, but apparently it wasn't like sexual, but she used to beat her kids when they were younger and but quite badly. And I think as they got older, they got her done for it. So, and I was just like, so again, you just don't know, like, and it's like, and if that's the case, you can all see me getting on with her, like everyone looked out for her, so I just thought it was all right. Normally you're just warned of people from like the beginning. Nah.
It's a
So
prison
like you said, you
community. You
just
can't.
don't know. You don't
Yeah,
know.
because you're in a prison community. You can't physically spend every day working out what every single person has done. It's not possible. It's
No.
not possible unless you've got the right type of friends, unless you make friends with people that have been in there a long time, unfortunately, and maybe that sometimes they are the murderers, God bless our friend T, people like her, she would let me know, like, boom, this person and this, because she's been in there long enough to understand the mindset, the behavior patterns, of people to just stay away from. But again, like the main point in this is that you just don't know.
Yeah.
And again, when I've gone in there, I've met people, and I thought I remember that case, but there's so much going on. It's not the forefront of my mind because there's so much people. It's flooded. It's like a whole bloody. You understand? It's full of people.
That's the thing is when I went in as well, I never once thought, oh, is there murderers in it, or oh, is there paedophiles in it, or oh, is there like terrorists in it? It's not something that you actually think about, and then as time goes on and on and on, you're like, wow, I'm in here, like this is real. It's like you're in jail, obviously, but then it's like shit. Of course, I'm in here with murderers. Of course, I'm in here with some fucked up people. Like, but then by that time, you're so used to just please, not everyone is everyone. Take out these wrong uns. Everyone other than that, like if you're a murderer or you're a drug dealer or you're a fraud, you're just the same. You're just all one person. No one's sitting there going, oh, you're badder or you should be treated different because you killed someone adult wise. I'm not talking about children wise. Not that it makes it okay at all, but it's weird, isn't it? It's kind of like it's accepted if someone's murdered someone, but it's not accepted if someone's murdered a kid. At the end of the day, murder's murder. Like, and don't get me wrong, obviously, a child is absolutely, yeah. The thought of it actually does literally make me feel sick. But it's like, isn't it bizarre how then you're looking at a different level of murder?
Yes,
One's
because
more
the
murder's
child
like
is
here, one's
innocent,
not.
and I'm a mother at the end of the day, so. mentally, you can't, I physically could not manage being in any environment with someone and I know that they've troubled their child, knowing that I'm in here and I don't have my child, like that alone. So I think it's very different when you're a mother. Like those things are just not acceptable anyway, but when you actually have
Yeah,
your
of
own
course.
child, it's like it's even worse. And like you said, there is no gated off place for them. You know, they're just there. You have to live with the reality of them just being next door on the wing. Like I had Helen May. I don't listen, I call her name. I had her living next door to me in almost 3, 4 jails. It was like she was following me around for my whole sentence. Do you understand? And I just wanted to kill her. I literally just wanted to take something, take the corned beef and just cut her throat because I can't understand why is this okay? Why am I not allowed? Like I have to deal with a lot of emotions and a lot of stress already, and now I have to deal with this every day. Like, and because of her crime, it comes with a behavior pattern. So she used to do things like I remember having a black bag in my hand one day, and she was like, "Oh, I never knew you like leather. Like, I will strangle you, bitch. Like, literally, just stop talking to me." And I found that difficult because you don't have the right to. I didn't sign up for this. I did not get sentenced for this foolishness to have to deal with all of this. That was worse than the sentence. Like,
That's the thing, see. So we get punished more. Okay, it's our own fault we go to prison, yeah? Hands
yes,
up to that. We get
yeah,
punished more than what a fucking nonce would, or a paedophile, whatever word you want to use.
no,
They get it easy. They get it easier in the aspect that they don't have to sit and just keep your mouth shut, hold your things to yourself because does that make sense? See how there's different aspects of how this woman now will have certain scenarios that will be easier for her than what it would us.
they want you could as a paedophile in a jail, you can progress up to an assessor, yeah, which means that you can assess other people's grades out in the community and whatever. But then you have me, who am, or I just about to manage to do a business degree or a criminology degree. That's as far as they're gonna let those. But with them, because who was running that hub? We had a whole admin hub that was run by baby killers, bro.
It's mad.
So
It's
you want to
mad.
print something, you got to go ask the baby killer. You want to do anything positive with your life at your resettlement stage. So now is the time when you haven't even got the energy to be dealing with these people, but you have to deal with them now on a daily basis because you're trying to progress. So you even if it's right in your CV, access to the admin hub, you got to deal with the pedophiles and the baby killers and the kitty fiddlers because they're all in there. They're all in there running it like it's their real office. And this is what the prison are allowing.
I know.
Am I lying?
No,
You
no,
can't
it's
make this
true.
up.
It's true. It's true. You think, yeah, yeah, you think that we've got us down in Send. There's a couple of them down there working in there, like, it's madness.
They run it. The one was a secretary, one was the manager. Like they've even got roles,
I
and we
know,
have
it's
to treat them like they are
no,
the secretary and the receptionist. Are you kidding me?
wait, it's yeah. That's what I mean. So like literally it's yeah, like I said, she's gonna get it's basically she's gonna go into prison, she's gonna go in seg, she's gonna come out of seg, she's gonna go on a protected wing or privileged wing, whatever you want to call it, depending on the jails. And
Yeah.
then literally she's gonna get held abuse. Someone might be lucky to get hold of her in when the officer turns a blind eye accidentally on purpose. Um, and she might get a couple of kick-ins over the first couple of years, but then she'll be, like I said, escorted everywhere. It's like she'll have her own personal bodyguards.
Yep.
Further down the line, then that might mentally do her in because I don't know if I could cope with that having to wait everywhere. But then, like we say, in a couple of 3-4 years time, there'll be someone else as a high profile. They'll go in there, take the heat off of her. But saying that though, when when you who did they swap for Joe? Who come into? I think I left. So normally they they will swap. So for example, if she's gone in there, they might have swapped because they normally
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So if she's due to go to another prison, say she moves prison in 5 years' time, they'll all talk about it. Then it'll go around the whole prison, and then she'll go through that whole process again. So she'll have to watch her back for the first couple of years. It won't get forgotten about, and
But
then
this is
again,
the thing. In certain jails, they won't care. Like in Bronxville,
if she's this way, if she's this way, if she's if she's down like Bronzefield or Send or whatever, so she's gonna have that whole thing. But once she's settled in, and she'll never get forgotten about, she'll always get spoken about because, like I said, you think that Shona, is it Shauna? I think it might have been
oh
Shona,
no.
whatever, Shona. Anyway, when I went in, I that was one of the first people, and I got told about her. So you're always going to have them girls that are quick to go da 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 da, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. So that, but
Yeah.
they'll never get forgotten about, but they won't be someone that's gunned for anymore. It'll be, like I said, there'll always be that new person that will come in and take the heat off, and in 4 years' time, 5 years' time, she'll have a girlfriend. She'll be told, she's not allowed to have her door shut of anyone in there, but guaranteed there'll be a swift time where they get the cell door shut. Do you know what? Her sentence isn't going to be easy. I don't want to proceed this now because obviously because I feel like we're getting in a little bit too much of saying that it's going to be that easy. And you've got to think, like, if there was a family or someone to be watching this and they want to know, like, it's and I'm not saying this to sugarcoat it if somebody is watching it, but it's not going to be that. For us, we can sit there and say, oh, it's going to be quite easy because of this, that, and the other, and she will end up having a relationship because that's what they all do. All the lifers, they're not gay, they end up in relationships, but to pass the time. But it will be a tough journey in the aspect we say it'll be forgotten, but it won't, because she'll move or new people will come in and someone will always remind somebody, because there's little things. I feel like I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but when I'm thinking now, actually,
Can
what
I
was I
just,
saying?
no, I would say, I was putting my hand up.
Yeah, yes,
I was just
Cuckoo.
saying, yeah, like what you're saying is correct, but I feel like what I'm gonna say it like this. People, she will get beatings. Like people, like over the years, people will be able to. They will plan and they will get her at some little points. But you see the problems that that person's going to get for putting their hand on her. That is where she wins, isn't it? That's where we're
Yeah,
saying she's going to have it easy because she will get beaten. She'll get beat up regular. But what will happen to the people that are getting beaten? The adjudication is going to be peaked. They're probably going to get shipped out, ghosted somewhere. Like their
yeah,
life is
they
going to
will
be
get
made
an added.
hell.
That's an assault charge. They will get an added extra sentence
Outside.
for it.
Yep.
But
Yep.
there's girls
So
in there that are raw. They don't care. They will do it. And if anybody is watching this, and God forbid, I hope you're not a family of anybody that's been affected by this, and I mean that from the absolute bottom of my heart. But if you are, she will get a kick in at some point. And the
look,
reason being as well, because
yeah,
there will be an officer that will turn their back on purpose. There
yep.
are officers in there that, even though, because I've had conversations with him before, and I'm like, how do you just do that? Like, how do you treat it? It's like, look, at the end of the day, we knew the job when we took it. We have to be professional when we come in here, but they do get treated different. Like, I got treated different to a lot of people. Like, they won't get see right see how she'll get special treatment, like protected around the prison and all that stuff. She would never get away with what I got away with. She would never get, can I have this, can I have extra trainers, can I have extra tracksuit, all that kind of thing. She would never get anything like that. The
No.
officers will not even banter with them on a level the way that we could have with them and stuff like
Mm.
that. They literally will be like, nah, any attitude. Because I remember one girl, I'm not going to say any names, but she come in and she come with a bit of an attitude. They put her straight up main block, straight next to the little one. Come out in the
Wow.
morning, she was on the news, bang, got beaten up, and then bang, they put her down the protection wing. So they do things on purpose,
Yeah.
and there's been comments that the officers have said they do stuff on purpose. The
Yes.
minute that you come with any attitude towards them, that's it. Then you're their enemy, and that's even without having a sick crime, So they will get it.
Yeah. No, they, of course they will. And then what it is that it'll be nice for a minute and then it will just go sour because someone will come in and remember the story and be like, yep. Yeah, yeah, exactly that one. Off, yeah, it just happens. So it's not going to be
It'll be
great,
the young
but
ones, like it'll be the young ones as well that like that come in more gang, and they've got something to prove or got kids, and they're like, yeah, I'm having her, I'm having her,
yeah,
because also
yeah,
it's that they'll get a good rep around the prison as well. They would do it for genuine reasons, but also they will get that good rep around the prison. You know,
yeah,
like
because
yeah,
it will give them attention. Like, yeah, yeah, she's hard. She beat up the paedophile, like the babe
yeah,
killer,
especially
you
now,
know.
especially with it being so raw, because everyone watches the news, and so I didn't. But okay, I say everyone, but most majority of girls watch the news.
Yes,
Or
yes.
so everyone knows, and there's a lot of girls that get the newspaper. Obviously, that's plastered all over the newspapers. I think this is such a big, sick, twisted thing. I mean, it's got to be the worst that have been. Well, one of the worst things I've heard when it comes to the amount of stuff, the amount of children, and how she's got away with it. That there's going to be people that are going to want to do her proper,
Yeah, but we also
especially if
have
she's
to remember
consistent.
that other people that are responsible because she shouldn't even have got that qualification. Like a lot of people failed those children, not just her.
Do you know
So,
one
you
thing?
know,
Yeah, but do you know one thing? Oh my God. And this was actually on the Sky News on TikTok earlier. One nurse, she deserved to be in the cell next to her. Do you know what she said? Do you know what she said? Oh my God, I nearly died. She said, don't quote me on word for word, basically, that there was another death, and the nurse went, she said to another nurse, oh, I wonder if Lucy was on that shift. Man, if you're not already thinking that way and talking that way, you deserve to be in a cell next to her.
yeah, because everyone knew, and this is the thing, you're dealing with the
But
medical
how
side
can
of
you
things.
even make a comment like that? How can
Because
you even make a comment? So you already knew in your sock, you would be hounding and hounding and hounding. You would have done everything. Or, you know what? You wouldn't even open your stupid dumb mouth because you sound like a mug. There's people's families out there probably watching all of this. And the way you've just come across is like you think, oh, oh, I wonder if Lucy was on that shift. So you're bragging that you and your colleagues, or obviously make a little joke about this. Oh, like, oh, I'm really getting high rated. I need to pipe down a
no, but
bit.
that's why you're getting high rated because you know that it doesn't take one person could not have orchestrated this. One person. Remember, if you're dealing with medication, you're dealing with hospital. Things have to be signed in, signed out, documented, handed over. Case notes have to be written. All of this stuff. People have to okay your work in it. So if they're not okaying it, like look at the little child that got decapitated. Imagine the doctor had the cheek to pull the child's head out and the head popped off and then they put her in a and put her in theatre. She had a cesarean and tried to act like it just happened. No, bitch, you pulled that head off ages ago. So the man, the solicitor, has taken everyone to court. He said he wants everyone in that room to because they never even got to see the fucking face of their child. That fucking bitch. Excuse my language. Can you
A
imagine?
little bit.
Sorry, Frank, but
No,
like
it's
you
okay
can't.
to
It's
be.
not just
I
her.
had to just come in back in myself then because I was getting really angry. I just couldn't, and this is why I can't do like. There's like just what like I just don't understand it. How can? Oh yeah, I made a comment to my colleague. Oh, it's bizarre. It's these people are just as guilty because I feel like you're all having a conversation about it then. You're either saying it, you're chatting rubbish to get on the news, or it's true and you've all been talking about it for God knows how many years. Obviously got to the point making a joke now. Oh, like, yeah. Is that another one on yeah, but anyway. Anyway, back to the this is why I didn't want to talk about what she'd actually done. I wanted to stay on the conversation of what will happen to her in prison.
But again, there's so much aspects mentally, physically, emotionally, like what's gonna happen? We will see. We will see.
It'll
She's
be
gonna
all
have
over the news
breakdowns. She's
anyway.
gonna have, she's gonna go through it. She's gonna go through it.
Yeah,
She's gonna go
100% she
through
will.
it.
Yeah, because
Definitely
the
gonna go through it.
longer as well that she's segregated, the more, and so rightly should she be absolutely terrified. She wants to be quaking in her boots, mate. Because I went to prison and I was scared myself, just going into prison. Yeah, tell me a lie, you weren't scared. Don't even
Of
make out
course I
like you
was.
wasn't scared.
Of course I was scared. I was scared I
Exactly.
might kill someone in there.
All right, okay. Listen, you were scared of the unknown before you went in. Like everybody is, yeah. I think anyone's a liar if they've never been to prison before and they're not say they're scared of the unknown, yeah. Then I think they're a liar. That's my
Do you
thing. I
know
could
what? I
be
feel like
wrong.
everyone's situation is different. Like I didn't have time. I'm not gonna lie, between getting found guilty on going put in remand and getting and waking up the next morning in my cell, I didn't even get time to even process that. I had a Cody with me that was not coping, falling all over the floor. I was more concerned about her behavior. I'm like, can't be going in there like that. I watch Bad Girls, and I'm not about to go down like that with this little Bali. So I'm not
So,
gonna lie. I
yeah.
don't know if I was scared. I don't know because I don't think I was scared until a little while after. Like I can't say I was, friend. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But if you didn't go with your code E, it would have been a different story.
Yeah, like if I just
Someone's
gone
just
in,
someone's just asked quite a good question. Well,
just
would
give
she
me
been
the quality fight.
segregated while she was waiting to be charged? So
Make sure you do.
I think
Who is that?
she would have been on the seg, innit? She would have been on the seg.
Say that again.
Someone asked, would have she been segregated while she was waiting to be charged?
Maybe not. And that's the fucked up thing.
No, because I
Because
think she was in Bronzefield. No, I don't reckon so, because she was in Bronzefield and then she got sentenced and went to Low Newton. So I don't actually know, to be honest. I do believe from what the media are saying, I don't know how true it is, she's in segregation now. So that's gonna anyway, my point is that's gonna be even worse, you know, when you're so now which is good, I'm glad. I want it to be as rotten as hell for her. But now she's gonna be in segregation, so she's gonna spend time in the seg and you know, when you're here, obviously, like you think about where segregation was in Bronzefield, they can hear when they have that hour exercise in the yard on their own, they can see everybody. Every
that's
prison
a
must be
normal
laid out
person you're
different.
talking about.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's a normal person you're talking about. Someone with a mind like that has a lot of time in that seg to fester. Look at Joanna. All that time in the seg, look what she came out and ended up doing. So when you've got a fucked up mind like that, putting you in a seg for a couple of years ain't helping anyone. It's making it worse because now you got more time to fester. You got more targets to think about. Do you know what I mean? You got more time to be that same person. You're not getting a chance to change or to even acknowledge anything. You can stay in that bubble for years. And then imagine
No,
then
what
you
I'm
come out
saying
into the
is the being scared to come out. I think I don't putting Joe and this person are on two different levels. I don't
I
think
hear that. I think she's
so.
like a really like a
Yeah,
yeah.
take because it's just two different. I'm not
Sorry, I'm
accepted to
thinking about the steak more than I'm
no, but
thinking
yeah,
about
what I'm
Joanne.
saying is she's gonna be in there and she's gonna not know what it's gonna be like to come out. She's gonna know she's in there for a protection. She's not in there for a threat to adults. She's
Sorry,
not.
it's my friend on
She's
the line.
uh,
Thank you.
she's not a threat to adults. She's a threat to kids. So she knows she's in there for her protection. So she doesn't know what she's going to come out to. That's what I'm trying to say. So her head is going to be like torture, which is good. Good. See, the other one, where I'm not putting them in the same category because that was adults and so you've got no fear. Anyway, like it's nothing to do with, do
Did
you know
she
what I
have
mean?
children? Did she have children, this woman?
I don't know. I don't know. I've not really read into it. I've literally skimmed through a little bit and I'm not really interested in hearing or seeing anything else about it. I just think that it was just quite a good video to do for YouTube. I thought it'd be quite good because there's such a mixed feedback because I'm adamant that it's going to be this way. And then as we're talking, I'm like, no, actually, no, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be like she's royalty in that aspect, or she's not going to get such an easy ride. And the more you think about it, there's so many easy things for her, but so many real shit times coming ahead, which she deserves. 100%.
Absolutely, man. The only bad
Death
thing is
penalty
the
back
only
in for
people that
that.
are going to
But then
hear
I think
about
the
it.
death penalty is too easy. I think the death penalty is too easy because I don't think
Yeah,
this is going to be. I don't think this is going to be a clean cut. Um, I don't think it's going to be a clean cut ride for this one, like a lot of them get.
we are. Yeah, but
This
we're
is
not
like,
really talking
this
about
is
her, Mon. Sorry, friend. 1 second. We're not talking about her per se. We're more talking about what treatment she's going to have when she goes into prison. We spoke about the privileges and stuff. So there's someone in here that was in Bronzefield in the same times that we was, like 2018 and that. So yeah, if you got anything to import, in terms of how she was going to be, he's going to be treated, like they're calling her the English Rose. And that's something else as well. That's very true. They you get titles like, look at the lady that was running the what's it called? Wax? What was that thing called? Where they did that, where she did the artwork in Send, and she made the cards and stuff. And I think they called it the Black Widow.
Oh, the one who got out. She got out. No,
Did
oh no, that was
you?
no, no, no. Hang on. Oh, the Black Widow. Yeah, she is out
The
now.
little short
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
No.
but I didn't know that was her. I again, I'm telling you now. Yeah, I'm not joking. So, mate, I'm not even joking. Listen, the whole time, imagine you go down there. She lived on the wing opposite. Blah blah blah. You have small talk. Anyway, do you remember? Is it Elaine who lived upstairs to us with us? I bumped into her and this woman
Oh, you
in the
told me about
shops.
the picture.
Yeah, and then anyway, then missed someone. Imagine. So I spoke to her like, yeah, let me send a picture to Ron, whatever. But anyway, listen to this. I swear, this man's commented on one of my YouTube videos, and he said, "Oh, was you in with the Black Widower?" So I'm like, so I've googled it. Was that even you? And I was like, what the hell? I didn't know it was her, and I was in the same prison as that girl for over 2 years. Like, mate, that's what I'm saying. But obviously, that's a different story. That's not.
But the
But
point
it's
is
mad.
unless you
But
mix
it
with the people,
proves. But
you
the
don't
people
do
don't.
that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. How did I not know that was her name?
Because you don't mix with her. Remember, like I said, her job was the art lady. So if I needed a card, you get sent to her. That's all she was. That's who she was. She wasn't anyone else. You don't then go, oh, what does she do then? You don't care by then. I just need a card, or I need something
Yeah,
to buy
yeah.
for
You
my
don't.
person.
Yeah, it's just
You don't
bizarre.
think
But then
about
I
that.
suppose at the end of the day, like again, because it was no interference with children, it's not frowned upon.
But see, with Colette, I didn't know what she done, but I saw the way that people were dealing with her, and it was like it was what I saw in Foston. Why you got so much privilege? Who did you? What have you done? Because you've done something terrible, and it's mad because I know you've done something terrible, but people are treating you great, and that's why I know you've done something terrible. That's what pissed me off.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the people done that owned the office downstairs. I don't know what they did, the Miss KS. I don't know what she's done. I don't know if it's anything to do with children. But again,
No,
these
it's nothing. No, no, no. She's calm. She's calm. She's
okay,
absolutely mint. Yeah, yeah. No, not at all. No,
okay,
there's nothing wrong with that.
okay.
Mm-mm,
Because there
mm-mm.
was a lot of privileges, a lot of privileged roles happening.
Do you
And I
know
think
what though? In her defence, she had to earn that. She had to prove herself for that because she was naughty before. So for being there from the beginning, obviously I was living on one of the wings with her. So it wasn't like it just come easy. They are. Do you know what? That's one thing that I can say is that the prisons are good on if you're naughty in prison. I'm not talking
Mhm.
about your crime. I'll make that very, very clear. If you're naughty in prison, they are good at giving you a second chance if you prove yourself. And if you're consistent with your behaviour, you do actually you do actually get privileges back because they like that because the way they look at it is there's rehabilitation. They're doing their job. They're doing their job well because they got the rehabilitation. They're ticking their boxes. So and it's less headache for them. It's less headache if they've got another yes sir, no sir. It's less headache for them.
Absolutely. And then they also can recruit their informants as well. Let's not forget about them.
All right, this is another whole other story, man. God, we'll be here till
But these
midnight.
are the roles that they end up getting in the prisons. You end up becoming an informer. So they, all sorts. It changes. They can allow you to be like different people in different jails for different parts of your sentence.
Yeah,
You can get
yeah,
chipped out to a whole new jail, and you get put on a mission to go and mingle with certain people, and you do that because
yeah.
you can put any poker face on in jail. Like we said, there's so many women in jail. You can't know what every single person has done. It's impossible.
No, no, it's true though. Like I said, I only found out literally a couple of months ago about the Black Widow, man. I was just like, what the hell? Didn't even know. But you
That's
just,
mad. And look how we lived on there, like one big happy family.
oh yeah, always used to hold hands and say a prayer every night before
I was
bed.
nice to her. She was nice. She was very talkative, and she used to really take care, set on KK.
Who?
Like Miss I laugh like a horse. I'm not gonna say her name. Miss Horse Laugh. She was. I used to go up and see her. Kettle man, but my one.
Oh,
We would
okay, yeah,
always
yeah,
go up and see her,
yeah.
but she would. But it was weird. I used to just always think it was weird. Like, why her? Why do you want to be friends with her? She's a little girl. She used to be upstairs, outside her door. That type
But
of
do you know what
arrangement.
though? Do you know what? Some people did see how you say it's weird, but why is it okay for me to want to nurture someone like a nan figure and look after them? So why can't an older woman want to look after? She could have just saw her as a daughter figure, and that did happen sometimes, genuinely, like with
I
no
hear that.
ulterior motive. Do you know what I mean? And
No,
and,
of
and you've got to
course.
think so that there is that scenarios because if someone was older and I knew there was nothing wrong about them, you just naturally just look after your elders. Some mums just want to look after the youngsters. The
But you've got
youngsters.
to be careful, and that's what I learned in there. I was looking after Angel, and she was the fucking right.
Oh,
Wait,
I was having a little boogie at Christmas, the bloody Carpenters with someone, and well, yeah, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, these things. Bye, Felicia. No, obviously she wasn't a non. So, if I found out that she was, I would openly admit it on here as well because it's a warning for you guys. Just be mindful. You can do stuff. You could be friends with people. They'll befriend you, and you just don't know. You just don't know.
Angel, not your,
You
not
don't know who
Angel,
these
not that
people are.
Angel, man, the
And
other
then that's
Angel.
also why I say don't lie about your
The
crime either
kingdom.
because people Google your ass. Everyone's name's outside their door, not just the beginning of the name. It is Francesca
I'm
Fertilizer.
not gonna lie. I used to. There was times in prisons that I'd go on a wing, yeah. Like I would move wings, and I swear to God, I would do the whole swoop. Like I would do upstairs, downstairs. I'm name clocking, bro, and then I'm calling and I'm saying, "Listen, who's this? What they done?" Because after a while, you have to. If this is my wing and I'm gonna live here, I ain't got time to be asking questions. I'll get my people outside to ask, and then I'll be telling the officer, "You need to move me because I can't stay here." It's that simple. Because they won't tell you. Yeah. But then what officers would do would be like, "Are you sure you want to do that, Lee? Are you sure you want to do that?" I'm like, "Why? Why? Why? What they done?" Like they're like, you can move to Dealing if you want." Like I think it's better you move to Dealing. But they can't tell me, man, because they know me, my head, boy. Oh my God, I couldn't take it. I couldn't. And that's what I'm saying. When you got crazy ass people that just can't tolerate certain things, it's hard for them to manage. But who gets in trouble? Me. If I say something, it's a problem. If I react, it's a problem. If I make a comment like I don't want that person living on my wing, simple. I'm in the problem. I'm the one that gets into trouble. I'm the one that starts getting treated a certain way. Because now all of a sudden I'm being judgmental. Hold on a minute. Are you not okay? This is not normal. I was sentenced, not silenced. I have a right to my opinion and to what ticks me. That shit ticks. Do you know what I mean? So that's why she will suffer because you're going to have loads of people in there on some low level crimes that are just normal people living their normal lives and end up in prison. And they're not going to be able to deal with people like being around in an environment with people like that. They're not.
Yeah,
And
but
it's going to make them lash out.
at the end of the day, listen, you commit a crime that's bad enough to go to jail. You can't even be like, oh, da da da, because at the end of the day, that's the consequences now of breaking the law. At the
Yeah,
end
but
of the
women's
day,
prison
they ain't
should
gonna
be
take a
categorized
jail
as
for
crime.
what? Huh? Is it? Is
Women,
it? Listen, is it right? Of course, it's not. Do I want it? Do you think that's what I want? Do you think if you have to sit here in hindsight and be in the reality of it, if you've never been to prison, why the fuck? Why should they build a prison separated for these kind of people, and then us, because actually, if
Do
they
they do
did
it for
separate
men?
these people, but if they did do this, then their jail sentence becomes easy because they don't need to be walked around. They can have relationships. They're never going to get beaten up. They're never going to get abused. They're never going to get reminded of what they've done by other prisoners. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I never found it easy. Never mind having children. Yeah, I never found it easy. Never having kids in the
Yeah.
equation. But the reality of it is, prison is prison, and that's
But
it.
that's
Like,
what we've experienced. Men don't experience that. I'm just saying. Men experience a category change and a category difference. It's only them personally, as a person, that affects them living on certain wings with certain people because of their crime. But we don't have a choice, Bob. We don't get a choice. We just
mate,
get mixed up
if she
with
went into a
everything,
men's jail,
everyone.
I reckon she'd be stabbed up pretty damn quick. They don't mess around in men's jails compared to women's.
No, women just talk a lot.
Yeah, I know.
I say that.
And hold a
You know,
grudge for about a month.
but it's just a very strange imbalance of what will happen with her for real. When you really check it, like she can get enhanced in a minute. She could be enhanced now.
You're right, that's a bit extreme, but yeah.
Do you reckon? But you only have to be behaving well, and the
12
only right
weeks.
officer has to sign that off, bub. Come on now. You can start
Mhm.
getting your A-Bon once a month. Just saying.
That is true. It is true. Yeah, I think this debate could just go round forever. I could just talk about so many negative, so many good, but the moral of it is that yeah, she's gonna have the rest of us the rest of her time. She's never going to know. She's never going to know if a right hook's coming behind her or not. She's never going to know. She might have a year of just being all calm, chill, and then one day, she just comes out of nowhere, head goes, jaws on the other side of her face, and bang, because someone knows, someone's heard, someone's been sentenced so many years later, like after it and stuff, like,
Yep.
and she'll always have an officer having to escort her around everywhere. I'm waiting for you to finish texting 'cause I was talking to myself.
I'm texting the person that's on the live, but because we're doing our thing, I don't want to talk to her
No,
on
it's cool.
here.
Anyway, I'm gonna round it up now. Anyway, because I feel like we're just end up going round and round in circles. Um,
I think we hit some good points. I hope, like, your audience have been able to kind of get a better understanding. Sometimes it's not always talking nonsense about what someone's done and why they've done it. It's like, look, she's going to jail, and this is the reality of what her life is going to be like.
yeah, of
And
course.
that
Yeah,
is it. So it's just trying to open the minds a little bit more to think, to understanding, like, what life is like behind the door, good,
yeah.
bad,
And
or different.
is she gonna get an easy ride in there? And it's a little bit of yeah and no. It is definitely a very big mix up because this
Definitely.
forever for the rest of her sentence, she's gonna get. Oh, you're welcome, Katie. She's gonna get an idea like beating up whether she gets one a year, one a week, once every 2 years. It's forever gonna be living like that. And I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's nowhere near enough for what she should get. That is nowhere near enough punishment for what she should get. But that will always happen. And the only power from that is she's never going to know when it's coming. She's never going to know. And I don't condone violence, but I'm telling you now, like that is not enough. That should be coming at you
Well, if the
every day.
right people
No
are
one.
working in the kitchen, she won't eat. You know that. You know that, innit? If the right people are working in the kitchen in the jails that she's in,
Yeah,
she
but
won't
then
even
they
get to
work
eat.
in there too. They all
Yeah,
get
but
jobs in the
depending on the
kitchen.
jail, servery as
Yeah,
well. You've got
yeah,
some girls that won't let them eat. I've seen
yeah,
it, man. Get
yeah.
to
No, I
their
know.
part of the queue, there's no food. The girls don't care, they're not feeding
Oh
them.
yeah, of course, yeah, 100%. Yeah, they'll just be like, move on. She won't even get that. They'll just be like,
And
move
they
on.
can't even complain most of the time because the reality is that you're living on the wing, you're not living with the officers. Officers
Yeah.
can't save you all the time. It's better you
And
just
they
shut your
won't
mouth and
care to
go.
save you. They won't care to save you anyway. You won't be protected by the officers. That's what I'm saying. She will get a blind eye turn when that officer knows that that person is in the med queue on a wing that they don't really need to be down at, and they know that person's there, and they'll know exactly why they're there. And if you've got the right officer on the right day, listen, they're gonna turn their head and bang. bang, and they all make sure there's a few punches and kicks thrown in, and
Yeah,
then they'll call for backup. Yeah, so
literally.
yeah, it's she will end up in a relationship. They all do. They all end up in one, and that's not right. But again, the thing is they could be so on her. So it's all good for us to say, oh, she'll end up having a relationship, but these officers now, especially these younger ones, they hold grudges more than what the old school do was. The old school ones, yeah, they're by the book. They're
Yeah,
by the book. Everyone's got the same treatment, no different. But see, the younger ones, they're more into their feelings, or even
yeah,
some of the officers think they're a little bit bad. So they literally will make sure that you ain't got no one in your room. You will never have an easy ride. You will never get into a relationship and think you can be cuddled up on the bed, because you ain't even allowed to cuddle up in the bed, by the way, with someone in prison. Even on top of the bed, you're not allowed to cuddle up. So they will make sure, they will gun, they will creep, they will do everything in their power. To be fair, the officers will make it just as
yeah,
looking back on more of the younger ones, they will make her life more hell than what the prisoners will,
yeah,
but by being professional.
yeah,
But like, see, whereas if me and you was in a relationship or whatever, whoever, you could just lean the door back and they just be like, oh, they won't even bother. But they will come if they've got a whisper that she's with, like getting in a relationship. They will come. They'll come. They'll come. They'll come. They'll come.
yeah,
They'll make their life a misery and
yeah.
live in
That's
hell.
very true. Very true. Very true.
So yeah, I hope she rots in there anyway. Uh, I'm not going to say
Yeah, I
much.
literally hope she has a
I
million
need to stay
breakdowns, one
professional.
after the other. And then
Yeah,
maybe
it's
one day
hard.
she
It's
might just
hard.
take her life. She might just end up taking her life. She might get into a situation she can't even cope. Remember, like to get to that stage in your life as well, it's very hard to do with a sentence. Oh, she could just look at her. She's had most of her life outside. So she could literally just pack it all in. Let's hope for the best day. Pack it all
Yeah.
in. Just kill yourself and make
So
everyone
I
else
just got
happy.
asked, if she says her mental health is bad, does she get different care? All she'll get, I think, yeah, someone says they think that she'll take her own life. She will literally, so what will happen is if she says her mental health is bad, she goes on what is called an ACT book. And basically then the officers have to check on her, like, so once she's locked in, she just gets a torch in her face every hour, and they'll bang, so all through the night, every hour she'll get woke up until she moves so they can see that she's not took her own life.
Yeah, but she
And
might get the psychology, the therapy, like get the one-to-ones. She
but
can she can
that
cream it to a degree,
yeah,
but look up
but
her. She'll end up in a therapeutic prison like Foston.
yeah, but I
But let her
don't
do that, but
know.
she'll end up with the nut nuts, mate. And they'll put her on things like pipe course and rap courses and those type of courses because of her mental health. So make her stay there. Because she's
Yeah,
just gonna end up doing all these courses with the people, with more people like her that are all
but
fucked
also
up.
as well, because see, to go and see a nurse or see mental health, you have to put in a paper app. And what the officers do, they empty the boxes at night time, so that app will just get thrown in the bin.
Yep,
Trust me, the
yep,
officers will throw that app in the bin.
yep.
That'll just go missing. So
It'll just go missing.
I think if there's any justice, and I do believe this is how it rolls, the officers will give her more of a harder time. And I'm telling you, the officers steal your apps. The officers bin. If they don't like you, oh, your app's never got here. Third app
Oh,
you've
your
put in,
letters,
still
so don't
never
post
got
them.
here. Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, mate. Yeah, she's not going to really get much care. I mean, she's going to get woken up every hour through the night if she says, she's entitled to any other to see the mental health team the same as anybody else is.
yep.
At the end of the day, she's still got rights as a prisoner.
Yeah, that's the bit. But it's how she chooses to do her sentences that going to make it either hard or easy for her. So, some of them go in there and because they get that whole protective treatment, they run with it in their head and they actually think it's going to last forever and create this whole persona like no one can't touch me type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Without understanding that can wear off.
I mean, this is huge. This is so huge. Like, this is one of the biggest things in a long time. That's Did you froze? Have I froze? No. Okay, so I think I've lost Lee on this one anyway. So I was going to cut it off there, guys. Yeah, so